Routine operation. The Zanati fleet arrived in Earth orbit with practiced precision. Commander Vrexen stood at the command window of the Vorthalek, his eyes narrowed at the blue and green world rotating beneath them. Another planet. Another conquest. Primitive tech. No planetary shield. Fragmented leadership. Typical, his adjutant reported, mandibles clicking with boredom. This won't take a cycle. Vrexen gave a dismissive wave. Initiate standard pacification protocols. Begin with surgical bombardments. Target major urban centers and broadcast surrender terms. Expect compliance within hours. Orbital lances rained from the sky, white-hot spears of destruction that struck New York, Beijing, Johannesburg, London. The explosions turned night into searing daylight, reducing skyscrapers to ash and severing global communications in minutes. Earth reeled. From orbit, it looked like the usual panic. Smoke trails, mass evacuations, civilian transports swarming highways. Vrexen watched calmly as his troops, 10-foot armored brutes bred for war, descended in dropships onto the fractured planet. The Empire had done this 100 times. Each world fell faster than the last. Then something strange happened. "Commander," a tech officer chirped, "we're receiving resistance footage." From civilians. Vrexen turned. Resistance? From who? Their armies were neutralized. No, not soldiers. Civilians. There, the feed stuttered, then resumed, showing footage from a drone. A Zanati patrol was ambushed in a collapsed subway station. Humans swarmed them. Firebombs, gunfire, crude melee weapons. The aliens screamed. One of their walkers exploded. "We've confirmed over a dozen similar incidents across multiple continents," the officer continued, antennae twitching in alarm. "They're improvising tactics and spreading footage virally to organize." Vrexen frowned. "Crush them. If they won't bow, they'll burn." But the ground reports only got worse. A battalion sent into Sao Paulo disappeared entirely, lost to a coordinated trap involving hacked public transit, collapsing infrastructure, and snipers using antique firearms. In Seattle, a mobile command post was taken out by a drone swarm built from commercial quadcopters armed with grenades. In the Middle East, tribes and soldiers once at war were now sharing intel and ambushing drop zones. This wasn't resistance. It was adaptation, evolution, rage-made weapon. Then a voice cut across Zanati communications. It was human, female, steady, cold. Broadcasted from a hijacked satellite. "To the invaders watching from orbit, this planet is not yours. You thought Earth was weak, disorganized, easy. You're not the first empire that's tried. You won't be the last we bury." Silence followed. Then cheering erupted from human forces still standing. Vrexen stayed at the planet in disbelief. Earth wasn't folding. Earth was fighting. He turned to his officers. "This is not a conquest," he snarled. "This is a war." Lessons in pain. Maya Chen pressed her back against the scorched brick wall, her breath shallow. Smoke curled from the wreckage of a downed alien walker behind her, still hissing, leaking blue fluid from ruptured armor. Its plasma cannon lay sparking in the street. She tapped her earpiece. "West team, status. 2 down," but the charge was set. "They're not using those tunnels anymore." "Good," she muttered. "Send the drones. We hit the next patrol in 15. Around her, the resistance moved with practiced urgency. Civilians turned soldiers. A firefighter now carried an alien rifle. A high schooler managed drone surveillance. An old woman patched a wounded man's leg with duct tape and torn fabric. They weren't military, but they were fighting. When the invasion started, Maya, once special forces, now a mechanic, knew what was coming. The Zanati didn't take prisoners. They didn't occupy, they erased. So she gathered what she had: friends, neighbors, anyone willing to hold a weapon. Seattle's ruins became their battlefield. The aliens were strong, fast, terrifying. But they weren't ready for how dirty humans fought. They walked into traps made of subway tunnels and sewer grates. Resistance fighters used sound lures, hacked traffic lights, even triggered gas mains to incinerate advancing squads. Every city block became a snare. The aliens expected surrender. Instead, they got fire. Maya crouched beside a shattered SUV, pulled a small alien device from her backpack, and handed it to Tariq Saeed, an IT consultant turned tech salvage prodigy. This was in their scout's armor. What can you do with it? Tariq turned it over, eyes gleaming. I think it's a comm scrambler or a locator. Either way, I can feed it false data. Make it send a signal. Lure them here. You sure? He asked. She nodded. Let them think they've got us cornered. 15 minutes later, the Zanati patrol arrived. 7 armored soldiers, scanning the area, weapons humming. They didn't see the drones overhead. Cheap quadcopters strapped with soda cans full of explosives. With a signal, Maya gave the order. The drones dove. The blast sent shrapnel slicing through alien armor. Screams followed. Then gunfire, this time from humans emerging from the rubble, using captured plasma rifles and ancient shotguns alike. It was over in less than a minute. Maya stewed over the fallen aliens. One twitched, reaching for a weapon. She kicked it aside. This is our world, she said quietly. You don't get to take it. In the distance, cheers echoed. More civilians were joining now. Former gang members, cops, farmers, teenagers. They were learning. Fast. Humanity had never been united. Until now. Unity of fire. Tariq Saeed crouched beneath the open chassis of a captured alien hoverbike, tools clutched in grease-stained hands. Sparks danced as he fused a human battery pack to an alien power conduit. Around him, the repurposed factory buzzed with life, an industrial heart now beating for war. This one's ready, he called. A teenager wheeled the hoverbike onto a platform, where Meyer inspected it with a nod. The machine was crude, armor plates bolted unevenly, its plasma emitter humming with unstable energy. But it worked. And it was theirs. Everywhere, the resistance was evolving. Factories once used to build cars now produced makeshift weapons. Railguns fashioned from scrapyard magnets, drones retrofitted with alien sensors, rockets built from disassembled oil tanks. Human engineers were adapting alien tech with terrifying speed. In orbit, Earth launched its first real counterstrike, Project Skyfire. From a hidden base in Kazakhstan, a barrage of jury-rigged missiles, guided by patched-together satellite arrays and coated with hacked alien comms, ripped through the edge of the Zanati fleet. A cruiser shattered, raining molten metal into the Pacific. It wasn't just Earth's militaries anymore. It was everyone. Nations that had once stood on opposite sides of bitter conflicts were now coordinating like old allies. War rooms in Tehran synced with bases in Colorado. Chinese engineers advised African militias on power cell reconfiguration. The Zanati didn't understand it. Their empire thrived on order, on submission. But Earth chaos had turned into wildfire, and that fire was now aimed at the stars. Maya stood before a map projected on a cracked warehouse wall. Red dots showed alien positions. Green ones were human cells. For the first time, the green outnumbered the red. We're hitting their forward operating base in the Rockies, she said to the assembled leaders, soldiers, scientists, former politicians. Not just to destroy it, to take their core. Tariq thinks he can use it to crack their orbital encryption. Tariq grinned tiredly. Once we get it, we shut down their communications. Blind them. Then we punch back. The plan was simple, brutal, human. At dawn, fire lit the mountains. Fighters in camo gear and ski masks swarmed the alien stronghold using stealth, brute force, and stolen mechs. Drones blacked out the sky. Molotovs and plasma blasts lit up the snow. By nightfall, the base was in human hands. Inside its scorched command center, they found a transmission. Aliens on other worlds, enslaved for generations, were rising up. And they were sighting Earth. Maya watched the footage silently. A reptilian species destroying a Zanati war barge. A group of insectoid miners seizing a weapons cache. Hope was spreading. Through the stars, she turned to Tariq. Get the ship ready. If they won't stop coming, we take the fight to them. Above Earth, a new silhouette drifted into orbit. A battleship cobbled from alien wreckage and human grit. They named it the Vengeance. The day the Empire bled. Commander Vrexen stood alone in the shattered war room of the Zanati throne world, claws trembling above a cracked holotable. Red emergency lights pulsed overhead. The map once filled with growing conquests now showed only losses. World after world gone dark. Resistance. Uprisings. Anaith, still burning in defiance. A new alert flared to life. Incoming vessel. Human origin. His eyes widened. No species had ever dared breach Zanati core space. Not the Brillax, not the Corin, not even the once proud Cordon. Earth wasn't just resisting, it was invading. The vengeance emerged from hyperspace like a scar across the stars, jagged, welded from pain and fury. It didn't carry diplomats. It carried a message. Inside, Maya Chen stood on the bridge, armored in repurposed alien plating, Earth's flag patch scorched but visible. Her voice was steady. "This is for every city you burned," she said, eyes fixed on the massive orbital fortress ahead. "Let's finish it." Human missiles, cloaked in sensor-scrambling debris, struck first. Alien turrets lit up the void. Plasma beams tore through space. But the vengeance didn't stop. Tariq barked commands, rerouting power to shields and weapons. Every bolt, every circuit had been made by desperate hands. It all worked. Just enough. Then came the boarding pods, small, fast, full of Earth's fury. Inside the throne's citadel, Vrexen fought like the warrior he was bred to be. But he was tired, outnumbered, and worst of all, outmatched by creatures who had no business still standing. Maya stormed the central chamber with a fire team of survivors, former students, miners, ex-soldiers. She faced the commander who started it all. "You led the first strike," she said, raising her plasma rifle. "And you thought we'd fold." Vrexen's voice was bitter. "You were supposed to be another mark. Another forgotten world." Maya's eyes didn't blink. "You forgot the wrong one." She fired. When the smoke cleared, the war was over. Not because the Zanati surrendered, but because their throne lay in ruins, and humanity had made itself a warning. Back on Earth, cities began to rebuild. The sky was still scarred, but flags flew again. Not just national ones, new ones. Symbols of unity, of survival. The galactic network buzzed with a new signal. Not from the Empire, from Earth. We were just another target. But we're not prey. We are the fire you woke up, the storm you misjudged, and we're not alone anymore. All across the galaxy, sparks caught flame. Species once bowed in chains now lifted their heads. Because Earth had stood, because humanity had bled, burned, and fought back. Maya stood aboard the Vengeance, now docked above a liberated planet. She stared out into the stars. "We're not done," she said. "There are others still under the boot. We free them. We teach them to fight." Tariq smiled. "You think they'll listen?" Maya nodded. "They've seen what happens when Earth gets angry."